Hey, good morning, folks. I'm meteorologist Alden here in the Storm Team Weather Center. We're just doing a little chat here to talk about the upcoming winter weather that we have headed our way here. So it's been a busy start to winter, and some of us are going to be seeing some more snow, and all of us will be seeing some pretty cold temperatures coming our way as well. So I'm sitting here, and I'll try to answer some of your questions as you comment them on WHAS 11 Plus, on our YouTube, our Facebook. Obviously, that's probably where most of you are watching, and online. So let's go ahead and find out where that snow currently is that we're keeping an eye on. Currently, there's nothing in our immediate area until you go up to the north, up towards north on I-65 between Bedford, Seymour, and North Vernon. I'll stop this radar image here so you can see it a little bit better. And as it tries to load up, I actually think our Louisville radar just went down a second ago. But we do have some light snow currently falling out of our Indianapolis location up to the north, where we have seen some light snow falling across our far northern counties. A broader view shows it a little bit better. All of that light blue stuff you see over Metro Louisville isn't actually making it to the ground, but it is still fairly cold, and we will start to see that snow making its way to the ground here as we head into the later afternoon hours. So in a moment, I'll be breaking down when exactly we'll see that snow begin to arrive and how much we could see as well. First, I'll go over the top three things that you need to know. So we have a winter weather advisory that's in place starting at noon, so coming up pretty soon in about 50 minutes until 7 o'clock tomorrow evening. So a fairly long duration winter weather advisory for us. 1 to 3 inches of snow will be possible for us. Those higher amounts will be coming to the east of I-65, and it's going to be frigid again starting tomorrow, lasting through Saturday. So we had a little bit of a reprieve yesterday. We're already starting to notice some of those colder temperatures making their way into the area right now. So here's a scope of that winter weather advisory. It includes pretty much our entire WHAS 11 viewing area in that purple count, in those purple shaded counties. And this is for those impacts that we could expect, which would probably most likely be on the roads. Unlike some of the earlier snow events that we had where our ground temperatures were just too warm for there to really be many impacts, we've been so cold now that the ground temperature is close to or below freezing, and the roads are going to be fairly cold too. So any snow or ice, for that matter, would most likely stick on the grounds, and that's when we would see some problems. So I would not be surprised if we saw some schools go to their NTI days for tomorrow, or I wouldn't be surprised if a couple of school districts actually canceled too. So let's go ahead and break this down with our Futurecast. It's trying to show where some of that snow is currently up to our north, but notice around 5 o'clock this afternoon, this is actually the latest version of Futurecast that's just come in, so we're looking at this for the first time together. We're seeing some of that snow begin to blossom almost right on top of Kentuckiana, and those darker shades of blue are telling us where we have those heavier pockets of snow most likely falling. So notice how a lot of that is along into the east of I-65. And as we continue into tonight, we really start to see that snow begin to blossom in our area. Again, primarily along the I-65 corridor and areas pointing to the east of it. So if you're a snow lover like me and you really want that snow falling in Metro Louisville, we've seen it go to the north, we've seen it go to the south, and now we're going to see it kind of go to the east of us. It's almost as if there's been a bit of a hole over the Ohio Valley. But you can tell that this is a fairly large area of snow and somewhat intense at times too. So we could have some moderate to heavy snowfall, and that would result in some of those higher accumulations developing. As we push forward here into tomorrow morning, this is when we're really going to be watching for those potential peak impacts as folks are waking up, maybe getting ready to go to work, perhaps getting your kids ready for school, or maybe they're staying home for NTI. So at 6:30, we expect to still have some light snow falling, light to moderate snow falling through the heart of Kentuckiana. That would possibly impact those road conditions. Crews are likely going to be out continuing to treat, and this would be all snow too. So this is not one of those winter weather events where we have warm temperatures, start off with some rain, and then transition to snow. No, this would all be below freezing, so it would be easier to treat the roads because a lot of that brine or salt would not be washed away by any rain. So that's a good thing when it comes to making sure that our roads are getting cleared. So that's tomorrow morning at 6:30, and by the mid-morning hours, we're already going to be done. We'll be stuck underneath another gray sky for the afternoon, and as we continue, notice how our temperatures continue to fall as we head through our nighttime hours and into early tomorrow morning. Now, I personally think these temperatures for Saturday morning are a little bit on the cold side, but really what's the difference between 6 degrees and 10 degrees? It's still going to feel pretty cold to us. And I'll break down what those wind chill values are expected to be as well. But we should start to see a little bit of sunshine as we head through our Saturday too, but it's still going to be fairly cold, and our temperatures struggling to make it up to about the low 20s. And if we have snow on the ground, that means our temperatures are probably even going to be colder than that, as snow acts like a cooling agent and prevents us from warming up as much. And with that snow on the ground, as we head into our Sunday morning, especially with clear skies, I expect we'll continue to see those temperatures fall and probably have our lows down into the single digits again. And we'll also be tracking the potential to see our wind chill values dip below freezing once more too before we finally start to warm up again. So let's look at that snowfall map. I know that's what everybody's really excited to see. Kind of along I-65, maybe a little bit back to the west of it and eastward. So pretty much I-65 eastward is where we expect to have the most snowfall of around 1 to 3 inches. If you live west of I-65, your snow totals are going to be less, probably 1 inch or less at that. So not as great of an impact for you. And as you continue to head eastward towards I-75, towards Cincinnati and up into the mountains of Appalachia, that's when you'll probably even see higher snowfall totals of maybe around that 4 to 5 inch range as you get into those higher elevations. So something else that we're going to be watching with this too is the potential for some light icing. Not an ice storm, so we don't have to worry about that, but we could see a situation where some light freezing rain or freezing drizzle develops, and I think that would probably be to the south of Louisville, south of the parkways, kind of towards that Lake Cumberland area. And as we show those potential ice accumulations for tonight through Friday, notice how it's very low, 1/100 of an inch. That would just be a light glaze, enough that if you use your snow scraper on your car windshield, you probably get a little bit of resistance from it, but nothing that's going to be a big coating of ice or result in down power lines or tree branches or anything. So just very, very minor icing. Enough that, so little that, our map doesn't even color that in here. So that would just be an annoyance more than anything, probably to the north of Highway 56 in southern Indiana and probably south of the parkways most likely. So I don't anticipate us having any ice accumulations here in the metro area, which would be very good. And that's something your weather app isn't going to tell you, is that those ice accumulations are going to be most likely south of the parkways. They would be very light accumulations. So I don't really anticipate there being any significant impacts from the ice, where we'd see more impacts from that snow accumulation and of course from the cold. And I'll break down that cold now too, because it's going to be staying fairly cold as we continue over the next couple of days before we finally start to get a nice warm up heading into the Ohio Valley. So here's this afternoon. Temperatures will be topping out near freezing. The white number is the air temperature. The pink number is the wind chill. So that's what it feels like to us. So it's going to feel like the middle 20s today, which isn't too bad compared to what we've been experiencing over about the last week. But as that snow falls and our temperatures fall, we'll notice that wind chill start to come down. Still not really too bad tonight. Our lows in the lower to middle 20s for a lot of us, maybe dipping down into the teens for some locations. And those wind chill values will also be in the single digits to the lower and middle teens. So it's still going to be fairly cold, but not quite any of that bone chilling cold that we had seen when we had those wind chills that were 10, 15 degrees below zero. Now, that said, Saturday is going to start off very cold, and that's when we are really going to notice kind of another little shot of that Arctic air moving in. Low temperatures are likely going to be in the single digits. Our wind chill values are probably going to be below zero as well. And when we have snow on the ground, and especially if we have any clear skies, a lot of those temperatures could probably even fall a few degrees colder than that. So Saturday morning, going to be cold. Just plain simple way about it. Our afternoon high temperatures aren't going to do much either. Again, struggling to make it into the lower 20s. And if we have more than a few inches of snow on the ground, that would probably keep those temperatures down a little bit more too. And with us expecting to see a little bit of sunshine on Saturday, probably going to be pretty bright. So don't forget your sunglasses if you are going to be going anywhere, just because of all of that sunlight being reflected off of the top of the snow. And looking forward here again as we head into Sunday morning, still going to be fairly chilly. Our winds aren't going to be quite as intense, so I don't think we'll have quite as large of a wind chill factor that we'll be dealing with, but it's still going to be pretty cold. After Sunday and through next week, that's when we're going to notice a really big warm up coming our way. So let's look at that snowfall map again, because that's what we all want to know. If you live along and east of I-65, 1 to 3 inches is most likely what you're going to have as you get towards Cincinnati, southern Ohio, northeastern Kentucky, closer into the mountains. That's where you could possibly see over 3 inches of snow if you happen to be traveling in that direction through tomorrow, so something to keep in mind. And west of I-65, Paoli, English, Litchfield, Brandenburg, Jasper probably experiencing 1 inch or less, so not as significant of a snowfall for you. But anywhere between 1 to 3 inches here in the metro will be possible. I think we'll probably find ourselves around that 1 to 2 inch range here, with those higher amounts again coming as you head further east on I-64 towards the I-75 corridor, throwing a lot of interstates out there for you. But I think we all know where a lot of those are. So that's a quick rundown of the forecast that we have here. 1 to 3 inches is the main amount. Locally, higher totals, of course, will be possible, especially if you find yourself in a heavier snow pocket. So don't be surprised if you live near Newcastle or Frankfort or toward Lexington, you pick up maybe 3.5 inches on the higher end. But overall, this will be a relatively low-end storm for us, so nothing that would shut us in like it did 30 years ago yesterday with that 1994 snowstorm. If you'd like to read more about this and get a really in-depth look into the forecast, we do have a blog that I'm going to be working on here. You can go to the website there on your screen, or just go to WHAS11.com, click on our weather tab, and start to look at, and find this blog and read it. I have a question here of when is this supposed to start, so we'll take another look at Futurecast. We're dry for the moment outside of a few light snow showers up to our north. As we head into this afternoon, so after probably 4 o'clock, this was Nancy that asked this question. After about 4 o'clock, Nancy, is when I think we'll start to see that snow begin to develop over our area, but it won't really be until after sunset and overnight that it starts to overtake and overspread much of the region, and that's when we'll start to see some more steady snowfall. And notice there too, off to the east towards I-75 in the Cincinnati region, where we have those darker shades of blue, that's where we have that heavier snowfall, that more consistent snowfall, and that's where we're also probably going to be seeing the highest snowfall totals, over 3 inches possibly. There will be a little bit of a break after midnight before we see another round move in early tomorrow morning, right before sunrise. And we'll have to watch that pretty carefully too, because if we have some heavier snow pockets in there, maybe we can pick up an additional quick half inch of some of that snowfall. And of course, we'll also be watching to see if area school districts either close for the day and have a traditional snow day, or they go to NTI. JCPS is back in school today, but they might go back to NTI tomorrow. But by the mid-morning tomorrow is when all of that snow will come to an end, and our temperatures will start to steadily drop into the single digits as we wake up on Saturday morning. So it's going to be cold once again, but we are going to see a little bit of winter weather. Then long term, as Sam Gabrielli will have coming up here in about 40 minutes at the top of the show at noon, we'll also be looking at warmer air coming our way and more active weather possibly as we head into the end of January, with more storm systems probably bringing us rain, but there's still a lot of time between now and then. A lot of stuff will change, and we got to get through this first snow event that will start today. So we still have a few hours before that snow begins. I think around 4 o'clock is when it'll start. It'll really pick up most likely after sunset tonight and over the course of the night. So it'll be an event that happens primarily overnight, and we wake up to see that nice little coating of snow out there on the ground. So if you do leave your car parked outside, you're probably going to need to give yourself some extra time tomorrow morning to brush everything off. So I'm going to go ahead and get ready to sign off here. WHAS 11 News at noon starts at noon. Sam Gabrielli will be here. He'll be giving you his latest forecast and his thoughts there. And then we'll have another update coming up at 4 o'clock. For now, thanks for watching. I'm meteorologist Alden German. Have a nice day.